And be sure to follow this live stream by clicking the follow button. I'm casting Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you miss it, well, you missed the best thing on the entire internet. And those of you that you do follow me know that that's true. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Boom, sucker! Most ridiculous SWTOR-related catchphrase ever. How's it going? Awall here from TGN Gamer TV, and we're doing this live on my live stream channel. I've got multiple guests. I've got multiple hosts. We're bringing you the best freaking community show for Star Wars The Old Republic ever. I am super pumped about this, obviously. So let's go ahead and go to the main grid, because we're going to be discussing things. We're going to have guests, we're going to be giving stuff away, and we're going to be answering your questions. So don't be shy in the chat box there. I'm reading everything you have to say. Let's go right to the grid and see who we got. Up in the top left-hand corner, MBD, my boy Danny, as always, on the cast. How you doing, MBD?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Right on. And to the other side over there, we got Vertec, producer at the TORsyndicate.com, recently upgraded to intern with very little pay involved. Bad negotiation skills, but we still love you, man. How you doing?
Fabulous, fabulous. Much less pixely today, and that makes me mucho happy.
Mucho's happiness. All right.
Mucho happy.
Oh, yes. Down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have Lord Hammer, leader of Guild Umbra, master of all things nailing, darkest part of the dark, straight up will take people down, no questions asked. How you doing today, Hammer?
I'm doing well, and I'm actually happy to be here with one of our main benefactors. We got Steven Johnston from a Guild launch, which is where Guild Umbra's housed.
Right on. So, Steven, I'll go ahead and go straight to you. And why don't you introduce yourself to the community and everybody watching out there, and tell us what exactly do you do, sir?
I am the founder and the owner, the primary developer for Guild Launch, and we're a guild hosting service that supports about 250 games. One of the largest is SWTOR at this point, and basically we spend our days playing video games and spend our nights writing code for video games functionality on our website.
Gotcha. And I've got guildlaunch.com open right here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it into the comments on the Twitch chat. So if you guys aren't already familiar with Guild Launch, click that link and buy everything there. But that's really, really cool. And, you know, as relates to SWTOR, how much support are you guys giving to SWTOR? Oh, actually, before we get into that, Ivan, are you also with guildlaunch.com? I don't want to skip over you here and get too deep into things. Ivan, I'm pulling you up on the screen right now. How are you doing? And how are you involved in the gaming community?
I am the creator and founder of Star Wars Old Republic Radio, the podcast, and oldrepublicradio.net, the fan site dedicated to Star Wars, the Old Republic.
Excellent. Right on. And there we go. There's our two guests. So, Steven, let's get back into it, buddy. I've got your website, guildlaunch.com, open. And just tell us a little bit about your site and how involved you're becoming with Star Wars The Old Republic. I see a little icon for that right here. So I'm checking that out. See, there's some special features involved, I noticed, for this game.
Yeah, I mean, basically, our support for Star Wars is about as much support as we offer for any game. You know, we've got custom templates, we've got widgets like server status, a light and dark tracker where you can track basically the light and dark status of your entire guild. Everybody puts in their light points and dark points, and we give you some, basically, as if your guild were one player, we give you your light and dark status. And, we're tracking progression for 8-man, 16-mans, the hard modes, all of that. So, in addition, we've got signatures and everything else. I mean, the platform has hundreds of features that are useful for Star Wars: The Old Republic.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, right on, dude. Well, I think that's fantastic that you're doing that type of thing. And let's go ahead and talk with Ivan then, so everybody can get a better feel for what he's all about. I'm going to go ahead and pull up your website here, Ivan, put it on the screen, and tell us. Obviously, right now I'm going to pull up Star Wars: The Old Republic Radio. I'm kind of scrolling through the website. Tell us a little bit about this and what you're doing, man.
Yeah, oldrepublicradio.net obviously is a site dedicated to the game Star Wars: The Old Republic. Also a proud member of the TOR Syndicate. If I can go ahead and put a little plug out there.
Nice. Plug in the TOR Syndicate. That's what's up.
Our show, our podcast, Old Republic Radio, is dedicated to talking about news of the game, but also just kind of getting out there a little bit, doing some entertaining things. We do fake commercials. We do fun little songs. It's just it's kind of like just having fun, like you're like kind of in a line for a movie at Star Wars. You know, just having a good time. We also do walkthrough videos of flashpoints and finding datacrons and things of that nature, as well as articles every week. You know, we're just kind of a fully functional fan site, just having a good time and enjoying the game.
Right on, right on. So obviously heavily involved in the community. I went ahead and posted up links to his site, both oldrepublicradio.com and oldrepublicradio.net into the comments, so be sure to check those out, guys. Really cool stuff, and I'm really glad to have you guys here on the program. Let's go ahead and get right into the meat of the show, which is the news that's happening right now for Star Wars: The Old Republic. My video a second ago broke, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it up and attempt to play it directly through the interwebs. But basically, the first piece of news this week was a sneak preview trailer of the upcoming content for Star Wars: The Old Republic, including some UI customization, guild banks, and etc. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to play this video right now, and regardless, I'm sure most of you have seen it already. Going to pull this up, and we'll go ahead and discuss this here in just a minute.
You
know they're watching the video.
One of the differences between Star Wars: The Old Republic and other online games is that we've actually kept the team that built Star Wars: The Old Republic together and focused on continuing to build new content going into the future.
Oh, upcoming. Boom.
Rise of the Rackhools is a huge epic storyline. We've actually
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
The first part comes out right away.
Dude, that's an epic voice, bro.
A guy named James Olin talked about a video game, and we all got really
is going to be a big focus for us. You're going to see a new
nice. No, keep it going, bro. I like this extra narration.
One of the most important features for players that are fans of PvP
As you can see, people have glowing light sticks.
See how they're doing.
And they're
Star Wars goes zombie
apocalypse. The legacy system actually allows each one of your new characters.
We definitely did not steal any elements whatsoever from Left 4 Dead.
Sopa
and Pipa will not be on our cases.
Unlock abilities and powers that normally wouldn't have
abilities and power. They're talking about legacy system here. Some new guild features. Here's some stuff I know you've been loving, Hammer. The stuff that you thought should be in there in the first place. Guild banks.
You can see our guild banks. Something that players have been asking for.
There it is. Ooh, look at that shiny guild bank.
Yay!
We have a team devoted to allowing players to customize.
Ooh, customizable UI. Ooh, that got bigger and smaller. Danny.
Interface elements. You'll be able
I wonder if you're gonna have anything to say about that.
What your interface looks
I might have a few things, yeah.
Optimize it to the kind of gameplay you like.
Yeah, it doesn't like when things get smaller, I'm assuming.
Seeing what they want to see in the game. We always are listening to the community.
Hey Steven, how much while this video is playing, how much
what kind of changes
Star Wars: The Old Republic do you play? Or is that not like is that a game that you play quite a bit, or is that just one of the games that you play?
I play a lot. You know, my early days of gaming was Star Wars Galaxies, and anything Star Wars, I'll give a shot. I've got a level 30, another level 20 something, another level 30. You know, I get pulled in a lot of directions, so I ended up on like 5 different servers, and I've got like,
oh my gosh,
you know. And now I've got to go and say, okay, you know, which of these servers am I really going to be in? I'm in like 6 different guilds.
Alcoholism.
So,
wow.
Yeah, you know, I'm usually not an alcoholic, but, you know, being that I talk to so many people that are in guilds that sound like they're fun, I just sort of ended up in all these guilds this time, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm getting to see what the alcoholics like about it, but I'll be picking a character here pretty soon and start doing some raiding with. But I play a lot. The game's been a lot of fun.
Right on. Okay, well, since you have so much experience on so many different servers, maybe you can give us some insight here on some of these discussion topics. But in this video, there's a couple main points. You know, a lot of this stuff is stuff that we had already heard about before, but they sort of let us see it on the screen. And for me, it evoked some thoughts. And I'm just going to start with the first one here, the first topic of UI customization. They showed you being able to scale it larger and smaller and that type of thing. We've discussed that previously on Project TOR. And I know MBD had very, very strong feelings about the lack of add-ons and macros in this in comparison to like World of Warcraft, where everybody was just relying on that and it became like a way of life for that game. So MBD, I'm going to kick that straight over to you, buddy. As far as UI customization is concerned, you know, Olin showed us that you can make stuff bigger and smaller. Is that making you satisfied?
Not even close. Like, you can make it bigger and smaller and you can move it around. That's all great, that's all important, and I like all that. That is not even close to enough. That's not even really what I was asking for. I want more. Number one, I want a combat log. Something. I mean, if you're not going to give me add-ons and a damage meter, give me a combat log. I'll parse it myself.
Dang. You heard that, BioWare? Hire this man. But anyway, go ahead.
Right, that's a different conversation. But seriously, as far as buffs and the control over our bars, like, yeah, maybe we can move it. What I did not see is I did not see the ability to take that bar on the left, turn it horizontal, and bring it onto the bottom. That was not on there. I saw I could move my companion window. Great. You know, I don't want to be super negative about it, but that's just not enough. They need to give a lot more. There needs to be just look at the functionality that it's available in a lot of World of Warcraft add-ons. Look at Bartender, look at Power Auras. That's the sort of stuff we need, and we need it designed, you know, we need something Power Auras designed by an actual designer and not, you know, not the interface of a coder that's really hard and weird to use. So give us better cast bars, better cooldowns, give us options. Options are key.
Options are good. Okay, I'll go ahead and kick it over to you, Hammer. Go ahead, man.
I just think part of the problem is, and I don't mean problem like, you know, they're trying to bonus, is, you know, from talking to the folks, you know, whether you talk to them offline, you talk to them at BioWare, you talk to them or you listen to what they're saying, is they want the control. That's what it comes down to. They feel, it is my impression based off of what I've heard them say, the way I interpret what they have said is that they want to have the control. They do not want people to have the ability to macro. And they don't have any plans on giving that ability away at any time soon. And I think the main reason is they want to force people to identify how to play the game. They want to force people to, basically they want the control. That's what it comes down to. But they want to force people to think about how they're going to fight. That's why every single thing has a global cooldown. So if you're in the middle of a fight and you're hitting, that's, you know, what, 1.5 seconds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then if you heal yourself, that's 1.5 seconds.
Sure.
So if you heal yourself and then you hit again, you're taking damage basically while you're trying to heal yourself. So any heal that you put on yourself, you're only going to get about 60% of that heal if you kind of think about
that's
it. That's
a global cooldown issue, right? That's different than the UI
That's all
issue.
fine. I mean,
I guess they are related.
To get in there with what Hammer said, that's all fine and well, but that's not really what we're talking about. Like, global cooldown, that's an industry standard. That's not going away. I have no problem with that. Not giving us macros, I don't have a problem with that macros. What I want is, I want them to give me what they're already giving me, but in different ways. Like, I don't want to see that my force spending buff, I don't want to have to watch my force spending buff down here in the tiny, tiny corner. If I want to make it big and over here to the right, I should be able to make it big and over here to the right. And if Vertec wants to make his big and small and over to the left and blue, he should be able to do that.
Fair enough.
That doesn't change, that doesn't make the game, that doesn't play the game for us, that doesn't give us any kind of advantage. It's just it's just controlling and optimizing your screen space for the way you want to play.
The audience seems to be agreeing with you, MBD here. I'm seeing a comment from Skozar saying DPS meters, FTW, and also Zen and XI Beta Co-caster is saying I can has threat meter BioWare. So a lot of people want this stuff. This is basic stuff that they're used to, and it's sort of weird coming into a game where those types of elements aren't present in your UI. So I'm gonna open this one up to Vertex, Steven, and Ivan. What do you guys think about this? Also what?
Mouse over healing.
There you go, mouse over healing. Okay. Do you guys have any thoughts about that, or do you feel like those guys pretty much covered the UI issue?
Well, I kind of typed out my thoughts on it, being that, I mean, Yeah, they only showed very limited tools, and I'm really hoping there are more and better. And I'm hoping and almost kind of banking on the fact that they've had a history of not wanting to share the really nifty things just in case they change it. People don't go, oh my God, you changed it, you removed it, blah, blah, and go into flaming wars like they have before already.
Right.
I'm hoping that's the case right now.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Ivan, Steven, you guys have any thoughts on this, or you feel like everybody covered it?
I think it's pretty well covered. I think that BioWare is going to have some growing pains giving up some control, and I expect it. And to see them at least addressing what is really the UI issue for a significant amount of people is probably scaling. It's low-hanging fruit that they can get to, and it'll take a long time before they get to add-ons. Given what they've said, it's going to take them a while, but they'll probably do it more their style, and they'll probably be there eventually.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Ivan, you it seemed like you had some thoughts you wanted to share there.
Well, I really hear what everyone's saying. I think customization is definitely an issue for those of us who've been playing MMOs for a long time. I think we should also consider the fact that really what Vertex says is right on the money. How many times has BioWare said something like, yeah, okay, we're going to give you this, and they show you just a little tidbit, here's your little crumb, right? And you're like, well, that's not going to satisfy my appetite, and then they come up with a steak and serve it to you right in front of you. You're like, well, actually, this is what we're going to do. So, I mean, I think we're dealing with a really, really unique situation here, I think, in the fact that this game has got a really large, brand new player base. And I think that getting those customization issues put in, I think we're going to see them happen over time. But I think part of that reason is going to be not to confuse that new player base that we have coming in.
Fair enough. That seems fair enough. Okay. Seems like the audience is more or less agreeing with this as well. So let's go ahead and move on to the next subject here from the video. Also in this video, they showed us guild banks. Wow. Oh my gosh. I had to change my shorts after I saw that feature. It was like, I don't know why they were rolling out that feature in a video like this, talking about hot new features, but I guess maybe they did that because it was being requested so much by guild leaders out there. So, Lord Hammer, leader of Guild Umber, master of all things nailing, you've talked about this a number of times. So, what are your thoughts on this? Are you just kind of underwhelmed, or I don't know? What's your take on them rolling this out like it's a, boom, huge feature? What's up now?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2012. I mean, the fact that they're saying, oh, we're going to give you, people ask for guild banks, and so we're going to give it to them. I'm like, really, BioWare?
Right.
I'm not a developer, but how much engineering rigor would it have taken to, create a guild bank at launch? What my suspicion is that they were trying to push the envelope and try to do something again, kind of like Ivan said, to take it to the next level, to really kind of give us something cool. So what I think, again, based on what I understand them saying, is that they probably had the regular guild bank thing done already, like, you can access it and you can give out permissions. I think they're going to try to do something or add something, I really hope, that's beyond that. I think they're going to try to take it and enhance it and have story in it. I don't know. They're just going to try to do something more with it, And I think that's really what it is. I think they're going to just try to innovate the way the bank is. That's the only reason why I think that it wasn't there for launch, because there's just no way you can tell me in 2012 that they didn't see that coming. Especially when you think about this, and not to carry on or caveat my own question and answer, but
you are. But go ahead.
David Bass retired full time to be the guild, community guy, right? If they hired a person full time to do nothing but manage guilds, and then on top of that, they had that big front facing on the website guild sign up thing, right? Guild management.
Yeah.
And then the whole preload thing. Then obviously that meant that guilds were really important. So I'm just trying to say, if they went through all that time, all that money, all that development and engineering rigor and pain and suffering, there's no way you can tell me that whoops, we just forgot about a guild bank. So I'm just trying to say, they've got to have something.
Maybe you'll be able to play the guild stock market at some point, play Pazak, maybe able to bet on PvP games with your build gang. guild bank money. Maybe there will be a bailout at some point. I think that you make good point. So, and you know, there's tons of sarcastic as hell comments here, like guild banks FTW and, you know, so revolutionary / sarcasm. You know, some other people making some comments about their 9-inch Malgus, which I'll keep those out of the show. But one comment here that I saw from Balin saying, forget about guild banks. How about capital ship and guild housing? That would be something that would be cool and would be, you know, a nice rollout as far as guild features is concerned. That would impress people. So, do we all unanimously agree, you know, guild banks, yay, you know, they should have been in there already? Is that more or less everybody's thoughts on that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, then it is decided. Also,
Well said, gentlemen.
All right, so they also talked about in the video how you can you know, choose to associate brother, sister, family type stuff with your character. It looks like it's only going to be insular within your own character, within the characters that you've created. I know Danny mentioned last week that he would have liked to see, you know, Vertex character, for example, be the brother of your character and kind of develop storylines in that regard. They didn't allude to that necessarily. One thing that was alluded to, though, in this whole rollout was PvP rankings. And this is something that I think is quite interesting, and I'd like to get you guys' take on a PvP ranking system will be implemented shortly, obviously, because they're hinting at it. Generally, that means it's at least a month out when they hint at these type of things from what we've seen in the pattern so far. PvP ranking system. If we were to speculate, what do you think that PvP ranking system will look like when it is rolled out? Anybody want to take that first?
See, I can't even speculate on that one because I have a feeling they're going to try and do something completely different than has been already done, just to kind of be a little bit revolutionary in that, rather than go with like a tried and true system or something that's already been, you know, established for a while, for fear of, you know, being just like this other game.
Well, not to hate on BioWare too much, they haven't been afraid to take good elements from other games. I mean, with SWTOR, I mean, like, take a look at all the elements they took from WoW, which I think was a good decision to take those elements from WoW. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did borrow for a PvP ranking system from WoW. If I'm going to speculate then I'm going to say that this guild ranking system is not... I would like it to be an ELO type system, where people are able to get matched up based on their skill level. Sort of like something comparable to League of Legends, if you guys are familiar with that, or like Blizzard ladders, Battle.net ladders, that type of thing. I would like that in the end with a cross-server PvP system in place. However, I don't think that's going to be the case upon launch. I think, if I'm going to speculate, I'm calling it right now, this is going to be a ranking system based on Valor. And it's also going to, you might also be able to categorize your ranking based on average damage per match, damage taken per match, and basic statistics like that, maybe even overall wins. I don't think it's going to be anything ELO related or anything too complicated at first. Those are my thoughts. What do you guys think?
Well, I think you're right. The cynic in me says they're just going to say, oh, we split you up by Valor now, derp, we're done, it's ranked. But I hope they do something. I hope they do something better. I hope they do.
They're gonna add story to it.
They're gonna add story to it.
They're gonna drive PvP through story. But anyway,
here's the thing about ELO. We're not gonna see an ELO ranking in battle, and the reason for that is ELO. You know, something based on ELO. ELO was designed for chess and one-on-one matches. It works great in StarCraft because you do one-on-one matches, and it's really easy to judge a single person's skill. In a game, even League of Legends, I think they do a good job in matchmaking in League of Legends. But that's a whole nother conversation. There's a lot of complaints about it, and the problem is you're taking this system designed to judge the skill of one person, and then judge the skill of the 5 people, and then assuming the skill of the 5 combined. But you can't necessarily assume the skill of the 5 combined. You can have, and with the Battlegrounds, it's the same way. The war zones, you have 8 people. You can have 8 great players. But if they don't work together, maybe they suck at working together. They don't want to work together.
True.
They're going to lose to 8 mediocre coordinated players. That's why an ELO system is very, very difficult to implement.
Maybe an ELO system could be implemented for pre-mades, because those pre-mates would be set, and they would essentially act as one entity when you're writing the equation.
Well, it's actually a little self-correcting. If the group doesn't play well together, then that's sort of a flaw of the players, and their ranking goes down.
True. I mean, that is true, but that's it. That's all, in theory. And then you have people raging on the forums. It's like, oh, I always get matched with noobs. It's like, I'm supposed to be better than I am. And, maybe you're not.
Well,
but
that's going to be
you're getting
forever and always in every game, right?
What I do hope is I hope they do split the ranked and the unranked. If I want to play unranked and just kind of screw around and not be super serious all the time, then I want to just play normal with whoever's in, or I want to play ranked, and give different rewards.
Fair
tiered
enough.
systems.
I'm seeing a couple comments here from the audience saying that maybe deaths per match would be something that they'd use to base this on. KDR, like some sort of KDR statistic, or something like that. We'll see if they implement it based on that. I think that they're going to use the data that they're able to easily collect, as they've publicly been announced that they can collect, damage-related data, deaths-related data, wins, losses. They're collecting that data right now, and they're going to build a system based on that to start with. If they are going to implement an ELO-related system, I think that can't even come into place until cross-server PvP is implemented, if ever. So, do you guys have any other thoughts on PvP ranking systems? I mean, at this point, it is complete speculation. They've just said that there will be PvP rankings, and that's it.
Yeah, the more complex the ranking, the more population you need. So until you see cross server, it's not going to be very complex.
I have to completely agree with that. Okay, all right, excellent. We'll go ahead and move on to the next thing. Then that sounds good. I think we thoroughly covered that video and tore it apart as much as we could. Not that we're trying.
We were pretty mean to that video.
We were kind of mean to that video. Like, James Olin's just coming out there and he's like, "Hey guys, we have some cool stuff coming up." We're like, "I don't think so." All right.
Yeah, that's marketing though. You have to. I mean, for them, everything's cool, right? Like from a marketing perspective, you have to sort of put yourself in a little bit of a vacuum and then act like everything you're doing is awesome. Like that's how you create the reality distortion field around your product. You can't just come out and be like, we're doing the same thing everybody else has done. I mean, what's that worth?
Yeah, that's true. I like the reality distortion field terminology you're using. I like that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, they are. James Only's not going to come out and say, okay, so basically, this game is 80% the same as World of Warcraft. We just added lightsabers and crap. Come buy it. I mean, come on.
Actually, that would sell pretty well.
They might have had better sales, I guess hindsight's 2020. But
it's kind of like HR, like whenever they start reducing your benefits, they're like, hey, these are exciting times and you are so important to us, the employees. And so what we're going to do is we found a way to really save money by jacking your, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? They try to spin it, I mean,
you can't pay your bills. Isn't that exciting, though?
It's not spin, though. It's not necessarily spin. I mean, for this game, for the people playing this game, this is a new and interesting feature. It's only when you sit back and analyze it, and compare, and we get around 5 or 6 people and whatever.
Yeah.
But for this game, these are new and interesting features for this population of players that are playing this game.
That's true.
And we've got years of MMO experience in this conference right now, and we are so jaded.
Yes, that's true.
If you put every cool feature that ever exists in an MMO, then you would announce a game now and release it in 2030.
Yeah.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. That's so true, bro.
So then let me ask a quick question then, relative to that statement, because I know one of the big things that they were really trying to do is they were trying to add a bunch of new people. They were trying to get Star Wars fans that are not necessarily MMO fans. They were trying to get MMO fans that are not necessarily Star Wars fans. They were obviously trying to keep and capture the BioWare fans. Based on that, how many people who are just not general, skilled, mature, well-versed MMO players would you say are in this game right now? Would you say that there's a lot more than average?
We were actually discussing this in our office the other day, and the benchmark I've been using for that is the number of new abbreviations I've seen for existing concepts. So as an old MMO player, I've seen people use things like, instead of LFG, I saw someone using is some other variant, and to me that's an indicator that person isn't like your old school MMO player that knows these abbreviations, and they're on the fly sort of coming up with new things, and seeing large numbers of people using those abbreviations and sort of latching on to them. I attribute that as newer player base, and that is a really bad way to measure it scientifically. But I see people learning new concepts, You know, you mentioned things like, you know, aggro and getting a what's that, you know, or instead of the yeah, man, that's what I was trying to do. You know, instead of getting the sort of snarky remark, you know, there are some people that are interested. So I think there is a pretty large group of players. I mean, our FedEx guy has been coming for months and saying, "Oh man, you guys do stuff in gaming? I don't really play anything." And then, you know, a year ago he started saying, "So have you guys seen this SWTOR game?"
You see that there, SWTOR
I mean,
there?
Like that's, you know, like I said, it's not really scientific, but I see a lot more people who were sort of at the fringe of gaming, but hadn't really gotten into the MMO thing, mentioning Star Wars: The Old Republic. You know, and then even my kids who, you know, I'm gonna get into, you know, Star Wars the movies. I'm now saying, hey guys, come play this game. So I think there is a lot of new players.
Can I jump in on this one?
Yeah, absolutely you can. And real quick before you do, there is a guy in the comments saying right now, I'm a brand new player. He didn't play WoW. He's just playing Star Wars: The Old Republic for the first time. Guy Feist in the stream comments. So he's one of those guys that you're referring to. Go ahead, Ivan.
Yeah, we on our podcast, Old Republic Radio, we were, you know, getting a lot of emails from brand new players with really just those basic concept questions that Stephen was referring to. I had a lot of people write in about the Holy Trinity. You know, what's the Holy Trinity? So we actually did a little experiment. We started a supplementary podcast called Star Wars: The Old Republic 101, where we really just start breaking down the basic concepts of the game. And we've had a huge response to that. And I think, Stephen, you're right on the mark. I think there is a large population of brand new people who the combination of Star Wars, BioWare together has really gotten them interested in engaging into MMOs for the first time.
You're talking you're talking about Star Wars SWTOR 101?
Yes, sir.
All right, I've got that pulled up on the screen right now.
Yeah.
So you guys can check that out at oldrepublicradio.net. Just drop in a comment in the Twitch box if you guys want to check out the series that he's talking about. But you know what? That makes sense. And a game like this with mass appeal, having the Star Wars IP to back it up, obviously there's going to be Star Wars fans coming in here that don't necessarily play video games. They could just be comic nerds. They could just be regular Joes that just want to play this because Star Wars is cool. And I think that's a really good idea that you guys are doing this 101 thing with this. That's pretty cool.
Thanks, man.
All right, any other closing thoughts on that one? Otherwise, we're going to move forward.
All I can really say is I really want to see the story quest for the Guild Bank, Umbra. Hammer. I really want to see that story quest. I can see the smuggler like go rob the bank. Maybe that works.
So just oh my god, I had to happen in STO, but that's another story. I don't want to go there. We got robbed blind. Anyway, damn permissions, I need to set them correctly. All your mats,
don't hurt them.
All your mats belong to us. Damn you. Okay, so anyway, one last thing though. At E3, James Olin did tell me that one of the things he's interested in looking into doing with the guilds, obviously, is trying to figure out how to come up with some concepts. And again, this is like what 8, 7, 10 months ago, something like that. You know, to come up with the guild systems, guild ranking systems, and things that like guilds can kind of level. So obviously, you know, borrowing or taking from other games that we all well know. So all that kind of stuff is in the works. So I'm hoping that this big secret, or the reason why they kind of left it, kind of like you were saying, you wait, you get a little bitty crumb, and it's this big steak. I'm hoping that that's the progression that they roll out further. So, I know that I've heard it from the top that that's something that they're really interested in working with. They know that's what people want. And so the one important thing to say, and, I'm not really cynical, but I do want to bust them in the chops when there's some stuff I kind of am unhappy with. But I do know that they know. It's not like, it snuck up on them and bit them and they were just, unaware. They know what people want, and they're working to try to get it for people. They're just trying to make sure that they can do it in a way that they can pull it off. That's the way that they want it to be. That's going to be different. So we have some good stuff in store.
Well, I don't know. I guess also, if I could just tail in here one more time.
And this will be the last comment for the subject, just FYI, guys. Go ahead.
I find it very interesting that the week they put out a brand new content patch for their game, they end the week with another video saying, here's some more stuff coming the way to keep the momentum up. I think it's really wise. Second piece, I mean, I think we should always remember, even though BioWare is an experienced video game maker, they are not an experienced MMO maker yet. And I think we're still going to see some of these growing pains happen. I think they'll work themselves through it quite successfully.
Fair enough. All right, guys, I think we thoroughly covered that one and went off on some tangents as well. But I think that was good. Let's talk about another controversial, another thing that they rolled out recently, which I don't want this to be the Rip Up BioWare show, but I don't know, this one, we're kind of setting them up on this one. Community forums. Yes, we were all looking forward to server-specific forums. I know Guild Umbra was, especially. We're a very community-oriented guild ourselves. I know a lot of other guilds were just really looking forward to connecting with the other faction on the other side, looking to connect with other guilds, and just they really wanted a great tool to hook up with other guilds and to just build that community, and that, you know, that's what makes MMOs last, right? The community, the guilds, you know, having fun with your buddies. That's the best part about playing video games. So these forums, you know, they're here to help us move that forward. Let's go ahead and pull them up, guys, and just take a quick look at what we're talking about. And I'll go ahead and post a link there in the live stream for you guys so you can follow along with us. But let's just take a look. So Guild Umbra, it's a PvE server, so let's go ahead and click that button. And where's my guild? I have to look, let's see, I have to look by letter. So I have to look in the server names R through THA to find Sith Meditation Sphere. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so Guild Umbra should be here. What is all this crap? All right, what's this? I see a Legion of Dishonor, PvP Trash Talk thread, an Oh Snap thread, an Ilum for a particular day thread, a Space Slug Best of PvPer thread. Where the heck is my guild? Where the heck is my server? I don't know. This was not what I expected. I was actually very upset when I saw this, but before I go on a tangent about the fact that I wanted community forums because I really wanted to build the community up, I know Hammer's all about that, let's go ahead and kick that one over to Vertec. Vertec, what's your thoughts on this community forum issue?
I think you kind of summed it up there. I was a little bit disappointed with how it was executed. I like the fact that they were created, but I don't like the impersonal touch of, hey, people, this letter through that letter. Go ahead and just all of you talk in here. That way it gets all mixed up and you have to choose each and every thread to see if it even pertains to your specific server. Right. Because if it doesn't, you may as well not even be reading it. But you have to sort through each one to figure out if it does.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'm just going to kind of open that up to everybody. Who would like to speak on this subject?
One of the first recommendations for community building is depth, not breadth. And I think someone at BioWare took that a little too seriously. And the rule is typically that you don't create 1,000 forums because you've got 1,000 topics. And instead you create one forum, and then as the topics start to differentiate, you split them out.
Fair enough.
And I think they looked at their servers and they took that rule of thumb, and I think it's misapplied here. I think that the server identity is so strong in an MMO that you have to have a way for people to talk. But they're trying a different thing, and we'll see how it goes.
Fair enough, fair enough. Any other thoughts on this? I think, well, anybody have any thoughts that are different or anything that you'd like to add on this, audience? I see Blockade Runner here posting a typical Blockade Runner type comment saying that it's another half-assed quick fix, sigh. And, you know, I'm gonna agree with your sentiments. I wouldn't put it like that. But, you know, hopefully... Hopefully, maybe this becomes more specific in the future. Lord Hammer, you are the leader of Guild Umbra and master of all things nailing, but you're also co-founder of the TORsyndicate.com, the #1 community site for this game. So, do you feel like this forum is helping build the community, which it's obviously intended to do? I mean, you're an expert.
I mean, I think you've pretty much stated everything. I mean, anything I would say at this point would just be piling on, so the only thing I'll say is Red Storm of Death, yo!
Red Storm of Death, yo! And just to go ahead and say this, I love you, BioWare. But we've been ripping into you pretty heavy, but we still love you. But we've been ripping into you pretty hard this episode. My bad, guys. We're just talking about the news. We're just talking about Shaft.
Meanwhile, we're like all never getting invited to Austin.
Right? Oh my gosh. Yes, please invite me to Austin. I promise I'll behave. Okay, alright, we'll go ahead and move to the next subject, which is essentially, because we were unable to post on a Sith Meditation Sphere forum thread, we went ahead and, well, certain members of our guild went ahead and organized a Faction Wars weekly event, which I'm going to put up on the screen right now. Vertec, you know a bit more about this than me, but you posted up a thread. You did use the BioWare forums, the SWTOR forums, effectively, so they do work. All right, BioWare? So I'm kissing your butt a little bit on that one. Vertec, what's up with this event that we put together?
Yeah, so even though we did just dig on it, I mean, the forums are going to be working to their effect as long as people know what's going on. A couple guys in the guild ended up today, they popped on the event. You can actually see right up there. Yeah, the first guy in the list there was one of the pair. They went and just started talking around in trade and contacting some other guild leaders and contacting other people that they see in PvP a lot. And started chatting and set up, you know, on Sunday, at 1 o'clock. Let's just meet up and let's just destroy Ilum. We'll just have an all-out battle royale. You know, we'll count up points at the end of the day. We'll see who wins, and let's just see what happens. And it actually, we kind of had a little bit of a preemptive strike on that today with about 3 hours worth of just murder all over, up and down Ilum, from the Republic base to center and back and forth.
Yeah,
and
that was really kick-ass today. That was really, really cool to see and that's really why we wanted those server-specific forums, right? Was to organize that kind of stuff. So we're still able to organize that kind of stuff, just not through that particular forum. But so when exactly is this happening?
This is this Sunday coming up at 1 p.m. on Sith Meditation Sphere. And for those listening, just the response that we've gotten on it so far has been just wonderful. So you might want to try that on your own servers if it turns out to be a good thing. And if it goes over really well, which I have a feeling it is, then you might want to go ahead and try it. It might solidify some PvP culture on your PvE server.
And one thing that it's going to just really help, I know it helped us today, is it's going to help people get through the churn of trying to do their weekly, given the current Ilum mechanic, or definitely your daily. As opposed to trying to find armaments or whatever. So, I mean, doing stuff like that, actually, it will grow the PvP. Because, heck, I got 2.5 levels of Valor today, and I'm in the 50s already. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it adds up. I mean, when you're doing hardcore Ilum action, you get that Valor, you get it quick. So, everybody out there, take notice. Post up a thread on the forums, try to organize with the other people on your server. If you're having some issues where you're not able to get that PvP action going, you can post up a thread on the SWTOR servers. You can get something going on your own and coordinate with other people. So this Sunday on the live stream, we're going to be bringing that to you. So let's go ahead and move into the discussion topics, unless you guys have any other things that you would like to discuss regarding that.
I'm good.
I'm good.
It's good.
Oh, we're good. Oh yeah, and Vertex putting up a link to the torsyndicate.com in the comments there. Go there if you want to get engaged in the community. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first discussion topic, which is obviously going to be the upcoming patch notes, which are on the public test server, patch 1.1.1. And it's obviously on the public test server, and there's a couple of things of interest here. I'm just going to kind of go down the list here of these topics, and big thing right now, players revived by other players, including by in-combat revival abilities, will now revive with 25% of their max health. This one seems pretty basic, guys. It seems pretty basic. Do you guys feel like this is a good change? It seems, I don't know what the percentage is right now, but is it like 5 to 10% right now when you revive?
It's really, really low.
It's like 500 to 600 health.
Yeah, it seems small, but it is a big deal. It makes combat reses actually viable, especially like in a big operation where there's maybe a lot of AoE damage going out, and you actually have time to bring them up and get them all healed and going. So it's a small change, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, before, if you got battle rest and someone broke wind in a room, you'd die.
Yeah, exactly. So nice quality of life change, we like to call these.
Fair enough, fair enough. That makes sense. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the next point here on this patch 1.1.1. Actually, let me go ahead and post the link up for you guys in the live stream chat so you guys can check this out with us. Link on askajedi.com. There's some balance changes here that are going on. And some major balance changes, things that we've talked about, calling the operative the OP, calling the smuggler OP as well, even though that doesn't really work out in a comic sense. Flechette round now provides 30% armor penetration while active. The KO ability now knocks down targets for 1.5 seconds. The shoot first ability, damage output on this ability has been decreased by 20% to control burst damage because it was significantly faster than intended for PvP kills. So those are some balance changes that are going across the board, smuggler and operative. So I'm going to open this one up for open discussion. Ivan, I don't know what class you play. Do you play a smuggler or an Imperial agent?
Right now, I'm much like Steven. I'm knee deep in my alcoholism, but I do play a smuggler gunslinger. And
right, you're by the way, your image is stuck in place with you looking at the camera like inquisitively. I don't know if you would turn your video off and then turn it back on and see if that fixes it. You're just looking. You're like, I am interested in this conversation.
You know what? I'm cool if it just stays frozen like that. I'll just stay frozen and very interested. That's very nice. Thank you.
There we go. You're back, baby.
Yeah, I play a smuggler gunslinger. To be honest with you, I always get nervous when we start changing or balancing the game for a PvP type of situation. Because I've seen it happen. We've seen it happen so many times where we are nerfing or changing or moving things around because of PvP, but that then inherently affects our PvE as well, but in different ways. So I don't think anything here is going to really do that right here. It's not going to be like a really big deal. Nothing's like a huge game changer in my opinion, but I just hope that they're watching this balancing very carefully, because I think this could get out of hand very quickly.
That's a fair enough point. Anybody else who wants to step in here on this issue?
Well, the thing about it is, this is a big nerf. That first point, it doesn't even specify. It says armor reduction is 30%. What it doesn't say is that it was 50.
That's major. That's major.
So, and yeah, so they nerfed the burst. I understand a lot of people had issues with the burst. I thought maybe it needed a tiny tap. I didn't think it was that bad, because an operative gets on me. If I survive the initial burst, which I do now that I have a little bit of gear, I just knock him back, I dot him up, he's slow, he can't even get near me. But some people were having issues, especially when they didn't have the gear that matches. But here's the thing. They nerfed the burst really bad. They did not do anything to help the sustain. So it's just a flat nerf, and I don't, when an operative or smuggler blows their load, and if you're still alive,
metaphorically speaking,
metaphorically speaking, once they blow their load, they're just kind of like, hi. There's no auto attacks in this game, so hi. Nothing going on for 5 or 10 more seconds. So they need to do something with their sustain, especially. I think that might even, like you said, PvP balance could really hurt PvE. Without that burst damage, and they don't have any sustain to begin with, it could really affect their PvE game. I don't know if that's true or not. But basically, what it comes down to is I think this was too big of a nerf right off the bat. You need to do it slowly.
I like how apparently the Sith Warriors perfectly fine the way it is now, so they didn't need any adjustments.
Yeah, they're fine. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, don't worry about them. They're perfectly fine with you being underpowered.
Yeah.
I know you're upset about that. When I pulled up this article, the first thing, I don't know about you guys, post in the comments, whenever I see a patch notes article, I'm like, skip, where's my class? Skip everything and go straight to my class.
Pretty much.
I kept scrolling up and down and I didn't see it. I even turned it around. I was like,
Alright, anybody else have any thoughts on this major smuggler and operative nerf? Steven, you are an altaholic. Are any of your alts going to be affected by this?
One of them a little bit, but I really haven't gotten into the PvP with them so much. I tend to go along with the nerfs and be relatively neutral about it. They're looking at a lot more data than a single fight, and these things tend to sort of even out over time. They can't just go in and be like, hey, we've changed the game today and everybody's playing different. So these things sort of over time tend to even out a little bit, and I just trust that that's going to happen.
Fair enough. Any closing thoughts on this? Vertec, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that I'm hoping they are looking at those metrics like Steven said there, and they're looking at bigger data than we can comprehend in the thick of things, because I surely feel the same exact impact coming from sorcerers and consulars. You just don't know it's coming from them because it's from far away. It's they're dotting you up and you don't even see anybody hitting you. You just know dots are appearing. You don't know where they're coming from, but I know where they're coming from because I started really paying attention. They whittle you down just as bad, only they don't have to move. They don't have to be in your face. You don't have to know who they are, who the person is that killed you. So I'm hoping that it's just my mind playing tricks on me, and they're looking at bigger metrics, and this is the big issue.
Yeah, they actually have actuaries and PhDs working on their metrics and their analytics team on all of this data. So to your point, they are looking and crunching large amounts of statistical data to come up with this.
Yeah, I would seriously doubt that BioWare would just arbitrarily change some stats. Like, oh, let's just nerf them a little bit. All right, cool. So we're just gonna throw some darts at a numbers board and see which ones hit. I mean, obviously they aren't gonna do things like that. They've invested bazillions of dollars into this game, and clearly that's not how they're gonna operate. So.
Oh no, I was just basically the point I was trying to make is they're not really reacting more along what people are reacting to and trying to fix that right away because people are complaining about it rather than fixing what is the real issue. Like, just trying to fix the one that everyone's complaining about so it'll kind of stop the squeaky wheel, and then we'll get to everything else later, maybe.
Fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and move on to some other points here within the patch notes. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull the patch notes and take a look at it here. These were, and I'd be curious to know if you guys want to discuss these at all. But players were no longer will no longer randomly die in an operation after being in. I can never pronounce this one right. GHARJs.
Garge.
It's Garge. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Yeah.
All right, good, because that's the way I've been pronouncing. I've been over-pronouncing it. Garge. Have you guys experienced that? Have you guys been randomly dying after being in the lava?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Even
Really?
after you die and you leave the instance and you can't get back in for some reason, and then you die outside of the operation.
Gotcha.
Right at the door.
That's got to be super annoying. Ivan or Steven, have you guys experienced that?
No, it's a classic MMO bug though.
It is classic. I totally agree. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some other stuff here in the patch notes. They fixed an issue that prevented some players in operations groups from receiving credit for the missions, like the weeklies. There were certain weeklies in particular, and the entire operations group will now receive credits when an objective is completed. So I guess my question to you guys and the community out there, how many of you guys got screwed over by that one?
Oh, I think we all did.
Yeah.
Like how many times? What, 2 weeks ago were we just trying to knock out our dailies, and we'd have to win like six matches before it would count. You know.
Fair enough.
Yep. Like 4 out of 8 would end up getting the credit for it, and with the weekly and the operations, you can only do it once, and you can't go back in there and do it again. It's one and done, and if you didn't get the credit, you just have to wait till next week.
Yeah, although I can tell you that bug is not fixed because I didn't get credit for it the other day, so I'm still bugged.
Speaking of bugged, and whether bugs are fixed or not, we're moving into our community discussion topics. I want to see the answers in the comments, dang it. Post them below. I want to see what you guys are thinking. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one up. Blue Milk and Cereal here on Ask a Jedi. Is the ability delay fixed for you? Patch 1.1.0b, the patch states that they made some optimizations and that the ability delay should be corrected in a number of regards. And so basically here in the survey, let's see what the community is saying here on Ask a Jedi. Do you think that the fixes, what do you think of the fixes to the ability delay? Awesome, they're totally gone, they're improved. Doesn't really seem to be anything, they're still there. And personally, I'm gonna say, I haven't really noticed an improvement. Of course, I didn't really take a whole bunch of notice to ability delay before this, so I'm going to go ahead and just put in improved but not a total fix and see what the community's thinking. And 41% of people are saying that it has been improved, the ability delay issue, but not totally fixed. 31% saying I've never noticed a problem in the first place. I guess that's the answer I should have put in. I am such an idiot. And 16% saying awesome, totally gone, and 12% saying that it's still there. There doesn't seem to be any fix in place. Guys, ability delay. How many of you guys have been feeling that? Have you guys noticed a difference now that this patch has been implemented? Don't everybody talk at once. MBD, how about you, MBD? Have you experienced this, or are you kind of just feeling it out right now?
I mean, I didn't really experience that very much. What I did experience is ever since 1.1, my performance has been in the toilet. Like, I have a great computer, and even on the fleet when there would be
not as good as mine, just for the record.
Not as good as yours.
mine.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
go ahead.
Like, there'd be 200 people on the fleet, and I'd get 40 frames or whatever, or I'd be out on the field doing whatever, and I'd get 90, 100. But then all of a sudden, out in the field where there's nothing going on, I'm getting 40 frames, and then on the fleet I'm getting 10. And I actually have not gotten a chance to play since the patch. Like, I haven't got a chance to play till Monday. You can see the shakes I have right here because of that.
Wow.
And
gotta get your digital crack.
I know. I mean, I'm itching all over, and so I haven't. What I read and what I saw, like, on Twitter, is people saying, a lot of people were like, yes, it's so much better now. And I was on the fleet a little bit before we got here, and I noticed that my frames were up to where they were before. So I'm hopeful, but I just don't know.
Fair enough. I'm going to read a couple comments here from the audience. Improved but not fixed, Lubo saying. A lot of people agreeing with you that the FPSs have gone down to the turlet since patch 1.1. So that's not even ability delay related. That's just straight up game performance overall related. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up to you guys. Ivan, I'm going to pull you up because you have that intrigued look on your face, frozen on the stream. You're like, yes, I'm seriously considering all of your comments.
I really am, actually. This is freaking me out.
You're freaking me out, bro. So what's your thoughts on this issue, Doc?
Really, to be honest with you, I agree with what I've been reading here, and that's why I'm so intrigued. Is I've really been reading the chat because I think a lot of the listeners have got it down. Because what I'm hearing is kind of what I'm experiencing as well, which is sometimes yes, sometimes no. It really depends on my character class. I still notice it on my Sith Juggernaut. I don't notice it as much on my Sith Assassin. So I mean, it just seems to be kind of in the specific areas right now for me, and my FPS is not changing. I mean, it's definitely not a latency issue,
You're an amazing ventriloquist. But all right, guys, Vertex.
Am I frozen again? Hold on.
Yeah, you are.
Let's reload.
You are. No, you're just so intrigued at all times.
Yes.
Vertex, Steven, Hammer. Have you guys? We'll go ahead and go to Steven first. Have you noticed a performance issue since 1.1? How many out there in the audience have noticed that as well? And do you feel like the ability delay fix corrected issues that you had?
I notice it seems almost random sometimes of when I get the reduced efficiency, I guess you could say, of the video processing, whatever, where my frame rate just takes a drop. I can play normally from like 110 frames down to maybe 80 on a normal basis. But then again, every now and again, it'll drop down to 60 or 50 or even like 20, which, I mean, it's still not terrible, but it's a lot less than I'm used to, so it feels, well, broken.
Gotcha. All right, fair enough. Any other thoughts here on this, guys? Does anybody else have any thoughts? Are you more or less mirroring what other people are saying? Or have you just not noticed anything, and you're like, whatever, I'm cool, I'm playing SWTOR?
I really haven't noticed it.
Oh, there you
sometimes when things have gotten a little more fast-paced, I think that's the only time, but it never surfaced to the point where I was like, you know what, there's an ability delay here. Instead, it was kind of like, I feel like it didn't go off when it should. It was much more subtle. As far as frames per second, my machine's too heller to notice.
Fair enough.
So.
By the way, if you could turn up the gain or exposure on your camera, that would help us out. It just keeps getting darker and darker.
Yeah, I'm trying.
No, it's okay, no problem. And also, Ivan, you are now a spinning wheel of doom here. Can you still hear us?
I can hear you and feel my wrath of my spinning wheel of doom.
You look a lot different. Poking your box here. It's not working. Okay, all right. Personally, I have experienced what Danny's talking about. I did notice a significant decrease in performance with patch 1.1. But the game's still definitely playable. And really, I'm experiencing that decrease in performance with what they're posting on the forums, right? It's the Imperial Fleet that's the issue, and Ilum. Just areas where you have tons and tons of avatars that you need to animate. And I gotta say, my performance dropped with patch 1.1. In those areas before, I was dropping down to a crawling 30 to 40 frames a second from my normal like 150 plus. And now I'm getting down to like 4 sometimes. So I'm not sure what occurred there, but I'm sure BioWare's all over it, and they'll go ahead and fix that up. couple people saying in the comments here that they've never seen the ability delay. Darth Styles is saying, and Freaks is saying that they've heard Marauders are also having issues as well. So there you go. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the final discussion topic, which I think we more or less covered earlier a little bit. And this is an interesting topic. I already know the answer, but are factions balanced on your server is the question. And they went ahead and put up a poll here, which I thought was quite interesting. How's the balance look on your server? More Empire than Republic came in as the 84% answer. Even came in at 12%, and more Republic than Empire coming in at 4%. So the vast majority of communities experiencing massive amounts of Empire, simply because Empire is cooler. So I guess the question here is that the case on all of your servers? I know that's the case for MBDs, Vertex, and Hammers. But Ivan and Steven, have you guys been experiencing the same thing with the major imbalance in factions?
I've only been playing one faction per server, so it seems right to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we're on the Jack. I'm on the Jack TOR as one of my main servers, and absolutely, definitely Empire rules the Jack TOR right now.
Gotcha.
As it should.
All right. Well, what we talked about earlier. Gonna encourage you guys. Hook up with the other factions on your server. If you have a low pop on your server, hook up with the other factions so you can get some Ilum going. And the other thing I would ask you guys, if you guys have any thoughts on this final discussion topic, then we're gonna give away stuff and do the mailbag. Should BioWare do something about it? Should they do like EXP bonuses or cool mini pets, like join the Republic and get this worthless pet that you probably will love, or join the Republic and get a tiny EXP boost in order to help facilitate the balancing of factions on servers? Do you feel like that's a priority, and do you feel like BioWare should step in here, or they should just let it take its course?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. That would be a terrible idea.
It would be a terrible idea for BioWare to step in.
It would be a terrible idea. They have to just let it play its course, and it will. That XP boost in particular would be just wrong.
Well, remember, the light side is really the correct side. So in the end, it'll all balance out towards the right.
They'll all repent.
We got you back,
no.
Ivan. They'll repent.
Oh.
All right. What do you think,
Yes,
Vertex? Should BioWare drop some changes there?
As an Empire player, and I do not ever see myself going over to Republic to the day that either SWTOR dies or I stop playing it for some reason or another. I will be Empire, and I personally would be A-okay if they did anything to entice people to play Republic. It could be a permanent thing, it could be a temporary thing. I really wouldn't care as long as it's not like we will give you 10 million free credits a day for the rest of your gaming life. As long as it's not something extreme like that, I'd be A-okay with them doing something. Like, give them a vanity pet, give them, like, an extra 5% experience gain, or, you know, they can, I don't even know what would appeal to a Republic player.
Well, FreakX in the comments is saying that he's suggesting to give the Republic bacon strips, and bacon strips, and bacon strips. Do you think that would entice the Republic to join?
As long as they had candied bacon strips, too. Candied bacon strips.
Chocolate-covered bacon, good call.
Yeah. I agree with that. All right. Any other thoughts on that, Ivan? Ivan and Hammer? Do you think BioWare should step in? Yes, no.
I kind of go back to, and this may sound really kind of outside the box here, but I kind of go back to Warhammer, and I would just be curious if maybe if they not necessarily gave bonuses out, but maybe just gave information out, as like when Warhammer, you went onto a server when that first launched was, you know, this server is looking for Republic. You know, the server is you know, it really could use a Republic player or something like that. Maybe just to see if that would, if those people, if players have that information, if they would be more apt to go to that side.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah, whether it says, so just giving people the information of whether it's more Republic heavy or more Empire heavy, and then players can make an educated decision at that point. Okay, all right, that seems. I don't know if that. I don't know if that's worked for other games, because I could see that working to the detriment.
Yeah, I could almost see that backfiring.
Yeah, I mean, players. I could see players only wanting to join, you know, servers that have more of an even pop, and then imbalanced pop servers would more or less get the shaft. As far as
or even worse than that, they're seeing it's like, oh, this is a server I want to play on. It's like, oh, it's all Empire, so I'll just be Empire.
Right,
Yeah.
and discouraging people that way. But maybe that's not the way that plays out. Maybe it does work.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Personally, I would like to see BioWare just a minor perk. EXP bonuses? No. Some kind of vanity pet like, here's a cool droid that we put a cool skin on. Join the Republic and you get a cool droid. And I think that would... Little stuff like that, man, has a giant effect. As long as it doesn't affect any in-game power, I would like to see more Republic populate more quickly. However, the audience out there completely disagreeing with me. Most people posting comments right now on the live stream are saying, leave it be, let it balance over time. You can't give... Go ahead and give the Republic cookies. You can't give Darkside cookies. So there appears to be the audience is disagreeing with me and Vertec, and they're agreeing with MBD for the most part on that one. Any closing thoughts there? Otherwise, Vertec is just chomping at the freaking bit to give away some stuff.
Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
All right, Vertec, before you give away stuff, I'm going to show the enticing prize. This one will look familiar because I had 2 of them from New York Comic Con 2011. A badass Imperial hat. Oh, yes. And I will sign it like before with a black Sharpie on the inside, so you'll definitely be able to read that forever. And a very deserving American. We aren't biased here, but shipping costs are a beast, my friends. So
We're not biased, we're just cheap.
hey, man, it's recession in America, son. So anyway, Vertec, you have a question that you want to drop. You explain the rules. You take away the show, my friend.
All right, so on the planet Alderaan, House Ulgo, they are famous for their grains and breads. They are also home to one Boris Ulgo. Not everybody knows this, but he was a decorated general of the Republic Army. How many years did he serve before declaring himself the new king of Alderaan?
Whoa, that is an intense question. Can you drop that one on us one more time so that anybody who might not have caught that will get that? First correct answer in the chat will win. One more time there, Vertec.
All right, House Ulgo on planet Alderaan. They are famous for their grains and breads, and they are home also to one Boris Ulgo. Not everybody knows this, but he was a decorated general in the Republic Army. Exactly how many years did he serve before declaring himself the new king of Alderaan? And we already have a correct answer.
Wow, already. So go ahead, man. Who is it?
That is Salmarnir.
Salmarnir was the first correct. Salmarnir. Identify yourself in the chat as being in the... Are you a U.S. citizen? I will check your paperwork.
Papers. We want your papers.
We want your papers. O'Haro? Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
O'Haro.
Very, very nice. And Steven's video dropped out. So everybody's windows are kind of knocked off to the side. But Vertex, so he is an official winner?
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Now, I'm curious. Did you know that off the top of your head? Or did you Google that? Did you search it? Did you look at the SWTOR.com site? I'm curious how you found that. Or how you brought that up. If you knew that, I'm going to call you hardcore.
I want to know if you guys know who his ancestor...
His what? What's that, Robot Man?
Who Boris Ulgo's ancestor.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're kind of roboting out there. Salmarnir. By the way, you just won this hat. Boom. Right there. Let me grab a pen. I'm going to sign it for you right now. Clearly, I'm not actually signing this. You can actually see my hand. But I will. Go ahead, and I'm going to provide you with an email address here in a moment. And can anybody answer that bonus question Hammer just dropped on us before we move into MBD's mailbag segment, a legendary segment here on the show?
The ancestor of Boris Ulgo was the guy who showed you how to put your pants on in KOTOR 1.
Ding, 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 ding. Mailbag spelled M-A-L-E-B-A-G. All right, we're going to move into the... Thank you very much, Vertec, for that interesting question. I'm really surprised I got that one out quick. We were talking before the show about how you might have to drop hints, so our audience is pretty damn smart tonight.
Absolutely. Salmarnir said he, or she, I'm not sure, I can't tell by the name. But either way, it completed the quest line about 5 times, apparently.
Wow. All right, MBD.
Alrighty then.
We're gonna start the mailbag segment. I've got the email address up on the freaking screen right now. projecttormailbag@gmail.com. Tell us all about your crazy shenanigans in your segment here, and I'll let you take it away, my friend.
Well, I don't know if it's very crazy, but basically, you email me at that address, and I pick some kind of at random mostly, and we talk about them on the show, and you get answers to your questions, and you feel very special, and you should. So I'm going to hop right into it. I got 2 questions today. So here we have a question from Atreyu. I guess he says his Twitch name is Atreyu. Are you in the chat right now?
Atreyu, where you at?
From the never-ending story, remember?
Yes, exactly. Well, if you're not there or not, hopefully you'll see this on YouTube. All right, so he's got a quick question about Gunslinger PvP. He says, I've heard it's trash, I've heard it's amazing, but I've heard that the Scoundrel is better than Gunslinger, but I disagree. I want to dual-wield blasters, but I want to deal massive damage. I want to know, basically he's asking me, do I go Gunslinger or do I go, or what is it, Scoundrel? Gunslinger or Scoundrel?
Bomb with a shotgun.
Yes.
Bomb
well,
with a shotgun.
I don't really know a lot about that. I'm going to have to pass that off to some people. But what I can say is, do not pick the flavor of the month class. Do not pick the class that quote-unquote does the most damage. Pick the class that more interested in playstyle. If you want a ranged playstyle, pick the Gunslinger. If you want more of a melee stealth playstyle, pick the Scoundrel. That being said, is there anyone in the chat or on the this conference right now who has any experience with Gunslinger or Sniper PvP? Anybody? Bueller.
Oh, you know I don't. I'm Power Tech all the way, baby.
Fifth Juggernaut, Immortal Spec.
Okay.
Sniper Gunslinger does burst damage at range, is what Xenon XI is saying. Block Collector saying that he has played a Sniper. And Sniper PvP is rough, is what SWTOR is saying. Very, very rough. Seems to be some feedback.
I believe it. Now, but I think the most important thing I want you to take away from this is pick for your playstyle, not for what is the flavor of the month. I think that's really important.
And I've played some limited Gunslinger PvP. It's fun, but I agree it is really challenging, especially in a map that's got a lot of movement to it. Because you're constantly, moving, placing down, getting at range, placing down your cover. The next thing you know, you got to break cover, run again, find your place, set up, and go. There's some challenges to it, but there is a lot of rewards to it as well because you can throw a lot of massive damage. But I will completely agree. Never go flavor of the month. Go with what you enjoy playing because if you have a good team, you're going to do well anyway.
There you go. And you'll have in the long run. You might have fun with that flavor of the month for the short run, but in the long run, your playstyle is what's going to determine the fun you have.
Fair enough. And Ivan, your frame is stuck. This time you look like you're like, oh no, oh
yes,
no,
I see. Yes,
oh no. But I'm seeing another comment here saying that the Sniper is fun in PvE. From SWTOR, so he's giving the perspective from both sides. PvP, it's kind of rough right now, but PvE, you can definitely have some fun. Certainly that range advantage will give you a lot of control.
The only thing I would add though for Sniper is they have a pin down ability or root or snare. Those guys can wreak havoc and hut ball, from the corners. For like Voidstar and Alderaan, it's kind of hard because there's not really many good places for them to get into, which is a classical Sniper thing. Get into some perch and just pick people off. The other thing is you don't want to be trying to sit there and just wreak havoc on guys. You want to look for a wounded fish and hit that because you don't want them to know where you are. That's the whole purpose of being a sniper. So if you're just sitting there, just railing dudes like over and over, they're gonna be like, he's over there, and then they're gonna come after you. Then you're kind of bummed. So that's the thing. But like if they're smart and if they stay, kind of hidden and they just hit people here and there, they can just dominate people. And then they're a great, Swiss Army knife to, be a force multiplier for the rest of the team because if they're smart, they're looking for their person who's in trouble. They can sit there and root the person. That person can get away. And then, it's really a group kind of class in PvP, and they can just really make a Juggernaut's day miserable.
Spoken from experience, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. So maybe PvP is rough right now, maybe because of balance issues, that type of thing, which could work out over time. But certainly if played right, Hammer's saying they can be a pain in the ass. All right, right on. I'm kicking back over to you, MBD.
All right, well, and we'll move on. Next question is from Emmerich. If you're in the chat, speak up. Hi. All right. He had 2 questions. The first was, what do we think of the operative scoundrel nerf? We covered that already. The other thing, this was a really interesting question, and I wanted to definitely open this up to the community and the panel here. The other thing, which I haven't seen brought up in the forums yet, but was a huge problem in War, I assume he means Warhammer, and it could be in SWTOR as well. So how all the AoE spells and skills work when several different AoE abilities are used in the same area. There are several classes in the game that can be used to create insane AoE burst damage if organized in a small group. They could lead to even worse bomb groups than there were in War. I didn't play War, I don't know what that means. Hopefully someone can explain that to me. Just one example, 2 to 3 focus spec Jedi Guardians with 2 guarded sages. If they jump in and time things well, using Force Sweep with 4 stacks of Singularity, it's just devastating, instantly kill anything in 5 meters. What do we think about this? This kind of goes back to, Hammer talks about it all the time. He talks about, the Triangle of Doom, and you get 2 healers, 2 sages, and they just annihilate you. Or Sith Inquisitors can do the same thing with the lightning and just coming in from both angles, and it's just massive amount of damage. I don't think that's a problem. I think there's a good strategy to that, and it takes coordination. It's not overly complex strategy, but it takes coordination to do, and there's a payoff to it, and I think that's okay. I think that's right. Now, is there anyone who knows what a bomb group in War was? Anybody?
I didn't play it.
Well, I'm seeing a comment
Did
here. I'm
anyone
not sure
play
if
that game?
This is what is 2 bright wizards guarded, melted face in that game. I'm not sure if that's what they're talking about. I played Warhammer for a while, but I never got into it long enough to be able to talk about, cool terminology like bomb group. Anybody out there in the comments know exactly what that is? Bueller?
It's based on just what I read there and my own assumption. It sounds like it's just some sort of stacking of AoEs, and just kind of by able to stack AoEs and just taking control like that.
According to Balin, it's 2 knights, 2 warrior priests, and 2 bright wizards, and that's a bomb group.
Okay, and I assume that's just really heavy AoE and just stacking AoE so that it's like nearly instant kills.
Fair enough.
I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I don't think they should be like, oh, if there's one AoE coming here and there's another AoE on top, they should cancel each other out. I don't think that's not the right answer. I think it's because there's a little bit of strategy involved in it, and you just need to prepare for yourself, counter yourself. The fact, the big AoE can kill you, but you know what? You could stack AoE healing too. So
fair enough. And evidently the strategy here, which seems pretty obvious, Balin is saying the knights pin people in place, and then the wizards bomb them. And then obviously the priests keep everybody alive, and you continue to bomb people over and over again, and it's ridiculously annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying that most solid PvP strategies are annoying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why they're solid, right?
Right.
Truer words have never been said.
And the simplicity of it is what makes it so key, because before you notice what's happening, it's happening, right? So the only thing I can think of to really counter it is you got to DPS one and you have to try to interrupt the other, but you have to try to have range to get to them soon enough to do that. Otherwise they're gonna get one person down. And the thing is when they do that little pebble crap, which apparently a juggernaut that's immortal, pebbles just are more immortal or whatever. I think they're the kryptonite to your immortality apparently.
It's just upset about juggernauts. Who'd have thought?
It just is. It's a flawless technique for taking out one person at a time. But it takes discipline to be consistent about it. And so that's the reason why I'm saying, as soon as you stop respecting it, you die.
Yep, you have to respect it, and then you just need to learn and experience. You can kind of see it coming, and kind of come up with your own counters, which is focus fire, really good healing. Like you said, you takes off one person alone really easily. Don't be alone.
Yes.
It's you have 7 other people in your war zone. Stick with them, make a team. And it's with PvP, everything evolves. People come up with strategies, and then that in 6 months people won't be doing that because it won't be so good. But then 6 months later, it's going to be good again. People forget about it, and then they bring it back, and it's rotational, and it's annoying, but find your own annoying strategy to counter it.
There you go.
I don't know what it is right now, but it's out there.
Also, a follow-up on that in the comments was the double bomb group. Bombs. where 2 bomb groups in a 12 queue, they could do 2 bomb groups and just be double as annoying and cause additional, maybe even twice the amount of QQ. So obviously those types of strategies are going to come up in TOR, but when those strategies come up, it's going to be like a month of that dominating, and then by the end of that month, you're going to know exactly how to counter that, and you're going to be putting together PvP comps that directly counter those bomb groups or whatever the hell it is in TOR, saber groups or whatever the hell you want to call it, and you're going to take them down. So it's just an ebb and flow with PvP games, and I'm excited for us to get there. And once the balance gets relatively fixed, and once maybe cross-server happens and that type of thing, we start to see these reoccurring metas and strategies happen over and over again, and then the real meta will begin. All right.
Indeed.
MBD, thank you so much. Did you have any more mailbag, or does that wrap things up for the week?
I mean, there were definitely more mail, and we don't have there's a whole show in of itself to answer all the mail we get. But I thank everyone who mails me. I do read every single mail, and I try to respond to them. If we don't get it on the show, I try to respond to them. But know that your mail is getting read, and we do appreciate it. And if your question doesn't get answered, just email me again, and you never know.
Awesome. I've got the email address up on the screen right now. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, as we've been on the air for about an hour. So about an hour, a little over an hour. And I know our esteemed guests are very important and need to go run things like guildlaunch.com. I'm pulling the website up right now. Steven, I'm going to go ahead and pull your website up and just tell everybody a little bit about how they can get a hold of you and what you're doing, and check out your site. I've got it pulled up. And what should people be doing? TOR fans.
Basically, if you want to create a guild site, get your guild communicating, strategizing, tracking your raids, and talking and building a community, just stop by guildlaunch.com and check us out.
Right on. Got the site right here, and I posted it in the comments below the stream. Steven, thank you so much for joining us, bro. I really, really enjoyed having you on the show, man, and getting some of that insight of yours. Alt-itis, it kills. It kills, buddy. You need to work on that.
I gotta focus on 1, or maybe 2, maybe 3. Maybe I'll focus on 3.
Oh man, he's getting right back into it. All right, fair enough. And let's go ahead and go to our other guest, who's not frozen right now, so I'm gonna pull him up on the screen. Ivan. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up your website here. How can people reach you who have been intrigued by your thoughts? I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the oldrepublicradio.com website on the screen right now and post it in the comments. And bro, where should people catch up with you? Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. What's up?
You got it. Come on to our website, oldrepublicradio.net. You can always find us there. You can email us at oldrepublicradio@oldrepublicradio.net. Follow us on Twitter at oldrepradio, and check us out on Facebook and Google+. Also, look for us on iTunes, Star Wars, Old Republic Radio. We post a show every week, usually 2. So,
right on. All right, here's that part of the show. Thank you very much for joining us, guys, on this community show. Be sure to click on their websites a lot, especially if they have ad banners and stuff, which it doesn't look like if you do. But anyway, refresh. All right, here's the part of the show where I ask everyone on the show to awkwardly say, bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'm sad that it's over.
thank you. I'm not frozen. Yay!
Thank you to my co-host, MBD, Vertec, and Lord Hammer. You can check out torsyndicate.com if you want to connect with the community. Guild Umbra represent. Let's go ahead and wrap things up in the show. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We're going to be here every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with brand new guests every week. Be sure to support our guests on the show. That's really, really important. And be sure to follow this live stream by clicking the follow button. I'm casting Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you miss it, well, you missed the best thing on the entire internet. And those of you that do follow me know that that's true. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. And I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. All right, peace out. And boom, sucker. Bye.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom.